Welcome, friends and enemies. This is Maitre Mola Alex Ndive Lisinge on a party political broadcast. I believe in the adage, you reap what you sow. You harvest what you plant, whether good or bad. You planted it. You cannot plant beans and harvest cassava. For the last 30 years, we planted something and we are about to harvest it. People who had no clue on what we planted more than 30 years ago. They want to try and harvest something that they have no knowledge about it. But what they are going to be harvesting is about failure, because you cannot plant maize and harvest achukoko. So today, progressively, I will be showing you a short video. It's a long video, but I will make it short for the purpose of this program. The French Afrique, and at the end of this program, I will talk about my knowledge more than 25 years ago. And as a young boy, what I used to do, that's what the so-called struggle, the hijackers, are doing today. I have acquired more knowledge. I've lived more experience. And I told some of these hijackers that what they are doing was wrong. It's there on social media. I told them, La République do not negotiate. More than 2 years ago, I told them, Mr. Buea does not negotiate. These are factual information. Information is power. I spent my time to gather knowledge. And what this Guzang Republic they are doing today, they are doing what I used to do when I was a boy or a young man. We have moved on. I've gathered much knowledge. I've got a lot of experience today as a lawyer, as a chukhet man, as a person where remain de repay day. I've learned a lot. That's where you gather your knowledge. I will always stress, there's nothing wrong for me to follow somebody. I used to follow a lot of senior people in Cameroon because they were on the right track. You don't follow somebody who will take you somewhere and say, I can grant you independence by signing a check in a lawyer's office in America. Then they disappoint you and you stand back and look. You don't follow somebody who say contribute 2 million US dollars. I'll give you independence. Then the money disappears. You don't follow somebody who say, I want independence. Then they rush to Naira Hotel to negotiate with a ghost for federalism. So why do you want to be everywhere? Don't you have conviction? Don't you believe in something? Because if I believe in the Union of Cameroon, I shouldn't be flirting from left and right. If I believe in federalism, I will not be flirting from left and right. And if I believe in separation, I will not be flirting from left and right. But as a politician, what brought me into politics is not about federalism. It's not about separation. It's not about unionism. It's about making people's life better. That's what brought me into politics. It's about creating good hospital, constructing road, creating jobs for our young people. That's what brought me into politics. Federalism will not give you, cannot guarantee you a hospital. Separation cannot guarantee it to you. Unionism cannot guarantee it to you. But when you have a careful plan, you know where you can get this budget, the money, and you know you can put it in the hands of the right people and they can deliver. That's why I'm in politics. I know in Cameroon, politics is a game. To me, in Europe, it's not a game because you don't play with people's life. Politics is about good hospital. If you look at it as a game, you have to put dodgy doctors to be in that hospital to play with people's life. If you look at it as a game, you have to put judges that are corrupt who send people in prison. To me, politics is not a game. Politics is a serious thing. Politics is about delivering in people's life, changing people's life for the better. I'll bring something before I go on to this France-Afrique clip. In Cameroon, since the reintroduction of politics, that's 29 years ago. I mean, multi-party politics. That's the point, not just politics. More than 29 years ago, the opposition political party have been quiet. 29 years. None of them have ever talked about that there is no English department in Enam. None of them have ever talked about that Cameroonians are being tried in a military tribunal. They should be tried, civilians should be tried in a civilian court. None of them have ever looked into the problem of our people. All they sit, they go to the parliament, the assembly, they complain that the CPDM government don't want to discuss about the, how do you call it, the Anglophone problem. Why should they? They have the majority. Their majority in that parliament, they decide, they have the knife and the yam. And again, I don't understand how the parliament or the National Assembly in Cameroon, how it works. Why do I say this? I don't know whether they have private member bills that a member can put a bill, and I don't know the system whether the majority have to accept, because generally, when it comes to introducing a bill in parliament, you can have an opposition bill, private members bill. I don't know whether you have to have a vote in it before it passes through, but at least there should be different community. How long? For 29 years? Why have the opposition political party have not been calling for a change if the parliamentary system, the way things operate, it doesn't work well? What have they been doing? 29 years is a long time. A 29-year-old or 30 years old could even be a grandmother or a grandfather. So our opposition political party have failed us. That's why we have come with this party, and we are still looking for people to recruit, people who are serious, not people who are just interested in positions, and we will get them bit by bit, because we believe in small cash monkey. Let's go now to this clip. It's about France-Afrique, what is happening in Africa. As I told you, I used to think like these so-called hijackers and Amazonia now, more than 25 years. I used to think like them. But having studied, I do understand how the geopolitics do work now in this world. I think differently. And I believe if we want to fight the geopolitics, I'm sure it will be a suicide mission. So I believe in small catching monkey, and I believe we can bring changes without killing one person in our country, Cameroon. And I believe that we should not be lying to our people. We should tell them the truth. At the moment, there's a country called the Republic of Cameroon, La République du Cameroon. Most of these people who come from Cameroon, who are claiming asylum in the Western world, they don't say they are Amazonian. If you say Amazonian, they will not give you political asylum or whatever asylum. You have to say you're from Cameroon, because there's no country like Amazonia. So they should stop lying to you. Yes, in politics, we can use provocative words to scrutinize the government, but people should learn to tell our people the truth. I'll go now. You should listen clearly on this video, and I'll analyze it after or at the end of the video. It's a long video, but I'll keep it short. And I hope you enjoy it, because it's interesting. It's our history. It's what happened in Africa. It's about who we are. It's better for us to know who we are, because we are better off than calling ourselves Anglophone, Francophone. We have our belief, we came together, but our identity remains our identity. Let's go then. Ciao.
Tout à fait particulières qui sont que le renseignement a besoin d'une orientation, si vous voulez, et que je recueillis là, l'orientation directe du président de la République par l'intermédiaire de Jacques Faucard pour la recherche des renseignements sur l'Afrique. Donc notre politique était très claire, c'était la défense des régimes en place, d'abord pour éviter l'instabilité politique. En conséquent, j'avais des pleins pouvoirs, même y compris pour recommander la désignation de certaines personnes françaises et africaines.
Vous pouvez être plus spécifique?
C'est-à-dire qu'il m'arrivait de dire à un chef d'État, là vous avez autour de vous un gars qui ne vaut pas un clou, il faut l'éliminer et je vous conseille de prendre celui-là. C'est vrai que là nous étions très directifs.
Robert's first job was to destabilize Guinea and try to topple its elected president, Ahmed Sékou Touré, who was seen as a threat to French interests. He had proclaimed independence in 1958, 2 years before the other colonies.
Il n'y a pas de dignité sans liberté. Nous préférons la pauvreté dans la liberté à la richesse dans le travail.
General de Gaulle was deeply offended and reacted with extreme measure.
Naturellement, l'armée part tout de suite, l'administration part tout de suite. Sékou Touré se plaint d'ailleurs de cette rapidité, ce qui est quand même un peu absurde. Il voulait l'indépendance, il l'a.
Le général de Gaulle lui-même avait dit quelques jours après l'indépendance de la Guinée à quelqu'un qui lui en parlait, en disant tout ça, ça ne va durer que quelques jours, vous allez voir, ça va s'effondrer.
But the general was wrong. Guinea did not collapse, but, abandoned by France, forged closer links with the communist bloc, countries which were happy to get a foothold on the African continent, previously reserved for the Western European powers.
Il y avait beaucoup de Cubains, par exemple, pendant quelque temps, la garde personnelle de Sékou Touré était entraînée par des militaires cubains. L'organisation politique du pays, où il y avait des structures administratives et politiques calquées sur celles du parti. Et c'était pas l'idée que l'on se faisait à Paris d'une démocratie pluraliste.
This was considered a strong provocation, and France reacted. It was the beginning of the Cold War, and the United States, faced by Soviet expansionism, allowed France to police Africa. France was free to carry out its agenda by any means possible, with the complicit silence of Western nations. African regimes, seduced by Soviet ideas of liberation, were neutralized, often by the French Secret Service. Robert turned to counterfeiting money in his attempt to destabilize Guinea. The country had refused to accept the currency France had assigned to its former African colonies, the CFA franc.
La Guinée a quitté la zone franc en mars 1960 et a créé donc le franc guinéen. Et les services spéciaux français ont fait imprimer des faux francs guinéens qu'ils ont déversés sur le sol guinéen, je ne sais pas par quel canal, pour déstabiliser la monnaie guinéenne.
Memoir of Maurice Robert. This operation was a real success, and the Guinean economy, already in a bad state, struggled to recover. We had to destabilize Sékou Touré, make him vulnerable and unpopular, to help the opposition take over.
But France feared this operation wouldn't be enough to defeat Sékou Touré, even if it succeeded in ruining the Guinean economy.
We armed and trained the Guinean opposition to create a climate of insecurity and, if possible, to overthrow Sékou Touré.
L'opération n'a pas marché parce qu'elle a été décelée à l'avance par Sékou Touré et par conséquent, elle a été démontée.
Quel était le but précis de l'opération?
Dans l'esprit de Foccart, c'était de faire sauter Sékou Touré. C'est évident.
France ruined the economy of a country and armed the opponents of an elected president. It would go to any length to secure its interests. Cameroon, which later became a big oil producer, achieved independence in 1960 and was facing its first election. France's former ambassador in Gabon was called into action.
Quand on a commencé à vouloir faire voter les Africains, il fallait quand même trouver des leaders pour se présenter. C'est-à-dire des gens qui savent au minimum lire et écrire et qui aient un petit peu de formation. Et Elio avait été repéré comme un garçon pas mal, intelligent, vert et désireux de progresser. Et donc, on peut dire que c'est l'administration coloniale qui a mis Elio en avant. Et à partir de ce moment-là, évidemment, on nous a fait demander de tout mettre en œuvre pour que Elio soit élu. Il a été élu.
In Cameroon, the French supported the fragile power of President Amadou Ahidjo. The opposition UPC, or Union of the Peoples of Cameroon, was banned during the French colonial era because of its Marxist ideology. With growing support, UPC leader Félix Moumié was clearly becoming more than an annoyance to France.
Moumié, je le connaissais bien, il était médecin, pas de problème avec lui. Il avait choisi mon fils. Et puis après, il a évolué de manière différente.
Moumié travelled to Geneva, allegedly to buy weapons. There he met a man calling himself William Bechtel, who claimed to be a journalist. Bechtel was reportedly a member of the French Secret Service. After the meeting, Félix Moumié collapsed and died. Swiss police determined that he'd been poisoned with thallium in his coffee. Delaunay does not mention his name, but admits French involvement.
C'est quelqu'un qui avait été payé par le président Elio, mais avec notre accord, évidemment. Nous-mêmes, nous étions très hostiles à Moumié, qui était violemment anti-français.
Vous dites « avec notre accord ». Est-ce que ça signifie que la France peut être complice d'un homicide?
Que pensez-vous du passé de la France? Que pensez-vous de Richelieu? Hein? Il y a des moments, si vous voulez, où la politique passe avant la morale, hein? À mon avis.
The executors of France's Africa policy followed a simple rule under de Gaulle.
Memoir of Maurice Robert. The general rarely explicitly approved such operations, but he didn't say no either. We called this the orange light, which meant go for it, do whatever you consider appropriate, but we do not know anything about it. This implied if you have problems, you will not be covered.
France continued to control its former African colonies by hand-picking presidential candidates and making sure they won elections. The policy, called France Afrique, was in full swing. Those put in power were subservient to France and French interests. The presidents were called black governors to show that nothing had changed since French colonial times, when governors took orders from Paris. Gabon, France's main source of oil, had a president that France approved of.
Tout Gabonais a deux patries, le Gabon et puis la France. Lorsque vous viendrez à Libreville, vous vous y sentirez chez vous. Comme moi, je me sens ici chez moi.
Gabon is covered in equatorial forests.
Okay, I'll stop it there. You saw the last person who just spoke was the first president in Gabon, Léon Ba. Léon Ba was a French puppet. You saw him. He said Gabon is France and France is Gabon. And they used to call them, and they still call them, when I used to say most of French African presidents are governors, they call them black governors. They just took over and handed over to them, because I don't want to go into the details of this documentary. I should tell you it's a documentary that was made by Al Jazeera. It's not mine, but those who want to look at it in details, it's on YouTube called France Afrique. You can always go there and look at the details, because you have to study before you want to change a country. You cannot just go to a country with a blind eye and you just start seeing over social media. You don't know how the countries run. You don't know the people who are behind those power. I've seen a lot of our brothers today in Africa and Cameroon. They are so obsessed with human rights. This man who is an eyewitness, the white person who was talking, he said he knows Dr. Felix Mumi. Dr. Felix Mumi even treated his son. And he just said something that in politics, sometimes, this Western politics, I'm telling you, whether you believe me or not, it's a fact. They are still saying the same thing today as I stand here and I'm talking to you, my brethren. They say policies or politics sometimes is more important than morality. And it's a fact. Donald Trump said recently, if we don't sell these arms to Saudi Arabia because of these journalists, Khashoggi was killed. If we don't sell it to Saudi Arabia, Russia will. It's about business. It's about policy. It's about national interest. The Cabinet Office in the UK once said there are times national interest comes before human rights. But you Africans, you see, I'm a human right. Yes, there's nothing wrong with fighting human right, but it's not the end of the world, because national interest comes before. How long we, the people of Cameroon, Southwest, Northwest, other regions in Cameroon, when are we going to start putting national interest first? When you ask children not to go to school, that's not national interest. I would have preferred to know how just to write my name and learn wrong education than to sit totally not to go to school for 3 years. I said this more than 2 years ago. It's on a video on my Facebook page that we are against these hijackers telling our kids, our children, not to go to school. I told them it will backfire. You will come back to my position, and I'm waiting for them. All of them, they will come back to my position. Going back to the analysis of what we just saw, the video, you saw former president, late President Sekou Touré. Before the so-called independence in Africa, France was not happy about the independence. He asked to give a referendum to French African countries. Either you become autonomous inside France, or you have independence. Most African countries, they rejected it. They denied. We don't want to stay there. So what did France do? France have to play his game, what we call today French African Cooperation, which was signed in 1961. They have to play the game. Sekou Touré was a president who declared independence in 1958, before 2 years before the other French African colonies. France printed money, struggled to destroy the economy because of Sekou Touré, sponsored the opposition, gave them arms to overthrow Sekou Touré. It's the same thing what is happening today, my brothers and sisters. So today, when you sit, oh, it's Paul Biya who is causing trouble. Paul Biya is the president of Cameroon, yeah? But it's not Paul Biya, it's you. You Cameroonians who don't understand that we are still in bondage. You Cameroonians, when you stand and start pointing fingers at each other, that you are Bamileke, you are this. Yes, we are Bamileke. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a crime being a Bamileke. It's not a crime being a Benti. It's not a crime being a man from Alapukan. It's not a crime being Bakure, Manu, or Bambalang, Bamisi. It's not a crime. That's our identity. We should not make it as if it's a problem. And if we want to decide whatever we want in our country, we have to recognize that we are different by our ethnicity, and we have to sit and talk as people who have an African background and culture and indigenous people of Africa. That's how we have to talk. When you keep on bringing these colonialist people, they are negotiating. It will never happen in Cameroon. It's over my dead body. No white man will negotiate for Africans. We are in 2019. You can go and talk with the Swiss. I've already warned them. I'm writing a letter to those Swiss authorities. I'm telling them the action is racist. They don't respect the people who are victims in Cameroon, the people that have been killed by these Amazonian terrorists, the people who are suffering, and we don't talk with terrorists. We don't do that in Cameroon. We don't. I don't care what Mr. Biya says. Cameroon belongs to everyone. Whether you're from Marwa, Cameroon today, I have my aspiration of independence, or federation, or unionist. Cameroon today is one Cameroon. Until the day that we are going to change it, it's still one Cameroon. We should not be fooling our people. We should not. On the clip or the video that I just showed, what happened? When there was the first election in Cameroon, these people were looking for Ahijo, somebody who could win the election. They have to ban UPC because they were anti-France. A French Secret Service officer killed Dr. Mumi. Nothing have changed. It's today. These people still have their interest in our country. And do you want to be Thomas Sankara and kill yourself? Or do you want to look for a way that we can solve this problem without killing a single person? We believe that we can change things in our country without killing one single person. Because at the end of the day, the failure of this hijacker is very easy. They are coming back. Why do you want to negotiate? Negotiate what? The government of Cameroon will never, ever give you independence. So when you go and negotiate now, what are you doing? You're taking the position of the people who call themselves federalists. You're taking the position of the people who call decentralization or unionists. So who are you? You're just a hijacker, a grasshopper. You just jump from everywhere from one step to another. There's one point which I will make it clear. No matter how we today, we come and say school should resume, you have destroyed the country because there are people who will not take orders from you. There are people who will say school should not go on. And if our children go to school, they will still chop their hands, not by you. Nobody controls those vandals or those brainwashed people in Cameroon today. You have put a disaster. You have made our country to be ungovernable, as you say. Who are the people suffering? Our people. It's either I fit in or I destroy it, because most of you, if the government of Cameroon should say genuinely we should all come back to Cameroon, you will not go there. I know that. You guys will go to Cameroon. So you just want to destroy it for the people who are living in Cameroon. You saw the national anthem that during President Ahijo's term they were singing. This old Cameroon, he said, you were once barbarian. You were living in what is comme les sauvages and barbarians. Now your life have changed. That's what they put inside our head. And today, these same people, They make us to fight each other. They make us to hate each other. And at the end of the day, why our African countries don't succeed? Because we have that culture of putting people down. Sekou Touré did the right thing, refused France CFA, made a money indigenous currency in Guinea, and they used all that opposition to bring him down. They tried to crumble the economy. They tried to train the opposition to be against him. That's what we do. That's what we do our best as Africans. We don't believe or love our continent. We don't believe in it. Because when somebody is doing something right, you cannot allow them to continue doing it. You are just positioning yourself, thinking that there will be a negotiation for you to gain. I keep on saying it. If I want to work with the government of Cameroon, I will not sit here and be talking. I will just present my CV. I know I'm smart and intelligent enough. The government of Cameroon will give me a good job and pay me well. Because I'm smart, I do my due diligence, I understand myself. I'm very expensive for anybody to hire me. I can work with the government of Cameroon if I want to. I'm somebody, I use my brain, I do my research, I take time to understand what I say, what I do. But some people, they just jump like grasshoppers. I said, today I'm a pastor, the business is not working, I jump into this. You don't need to play with people's life. People who even do 419, I'm sure they do it to individuals, not to a country, not to Northwest and Southwest, not to destroy other people's life while your kids are going to school. Because at the end of the day, if these people who have destroyed the people in my constituency in Fako their life, if the day any government now and future should pardon them, we are going to take our own guns in the bushes. We are going to fight back. Because we want Lydia back, we want Molan Njile back, we want Molan Banda back, we want Etambi back, we want Dio Namata back. We want all those people you have humiliated. You call yourself Anglophones. You have humiliated our people with your Guzang Republic. You pay for it. There's no forgiveness for that. You said you have your revolution. Your revolution was against the government of Cameroon. 3 years. I don't know which route you're taking. Whether you want to go through, I don't know what, through Manfred to pass through to reach Yaoundé or to pass through Bafoussam. You have not done that. All you do is to punish our people. It's to destroy the life of our people. Because most of us have come abroad. We think that because we can work 5 francs, we can send those 5 francs to the vulnerable people in our country to kill each other. It won't work. We are not in South Africa. South Africa was different. So stop quoting Mandela. South Africa was a different place. South Africa is not Cameroon. I warn you people, nobody have got a monopoly over independence. The Bamileke people have come now. They have created their own country. They have their own flag too. Everybody can do that. The Beti people can do that. The Marwa people can do it. You people don't understand politics in Cameroon. You think you're the only one who can declare independence? I told you, I used to say, Sour Republic. Some of you who cannot read in between the lines, you don't know what I was talking about. I'm happy Dr. Labang in America, he knew. Some of you is xenophobic. I'm not being xenophobic. I was telling you that other people can do the same thing what you're doing. It was just a warning sign that look, you are not the only one who can ask for independence. Other people can ask for independence. And we got it. Now the Bamileke people have created their own flag. The Beti people will create their own flag. The Douala people will create their own flag. The Fako people, the Manu people. Then we'll see who will have that independence. Because common sense is not common. It's not common at all. I warn you people. You don't listen. The history of Cameroon started before the arrival of the British and the French. The history of Cameroon started before the arrival of the Germans. So when you think you can cherry pick, Maitre Mola Alex de Velisinghe does not cherry pick. Thank you once more, and I've been speaking on behalf of the BCNP party. You can go on our website. You can contribute to the policies. Our website is www.thebcnp.org. BCNP.com, and you can also donate. We are a political party. We are looking forward to decide whether we are going to stand for the next local election. Hopefully, when we have a meeting, we'll decide and we'll start preparing, and we'll need local people in Cameroon to take over, to bring changes. We'll be lecturing and giving some training to our candidates and the future MPs. We have to teach them what to do and how to serve the people. We want to stop that culture that being a member of parliament with councillor is just to eat money. It's to serve the people. You are a servant of the people, and we want to change politics in Cameroon. Politics in Cameroon will never be the same again, and we want to bring politics that works for you. Thank you very much, and stay blessed.